Yeah, so this event is 2 full days. We're going to have about 50 to 60 students here. I'm just going to go through a lot of maths to make sure that everyone knows exactly what's going on. And yeah, it's going to be a really, really good atmosphere. There's going to be a lot of energy here. And hopefully you learn something from this video. What we're planning on doing is just a big recap of all the things that I teach my students so that they can be really good at their subjects. So a large recap of the things that they're going to be learning in their Year 13 exams so that when they start their January mocks, they're in a very, very good position. So we're going to be doing lots of questions on partial fractions, algebraic division, binomial, differentiation, trig, modulus functions, a lot on transformations, and then a lot on trig identities and that kind of stuff. So lots of nice things in pure for about roughly half of what you learn in Year 13. I want neat maths. I don't want to see no mess, guys. It shouldn't look atrocious, yeah? Take your time, breathe. So tell me what that is. It's a vector indeed, yeah? Well, but what does it do? Does it move things? Does it stretch things? Does it flip things? What does it do? So you got to write the correct word, yeah? Don't say, guys, move to the right by 4. You can't say that. You've got to give the vector. You've got to give the translation, yeah? I know what you mean. It's not enough detail. I can't give you any marks. I want to give you the marks, please. Okay. Which direction? Which direction is that being stretched in? The x or the y? Have a think. If it's inside the function, cool. So you've got to write stretch, scale factor 1/3 in the x direction. You've got to ask yourself, what do you swap this x with in brackets? So when you times it by 2, it turns to 3x. So what would that be? What do you times 2 by to get to 3? So 3 over 2, yeah? So you swapped x. You swapped x with 3 over 2x. That is a stretch in the x direction, the reciprocal of that number there. That's how you're going to have to think about it. What do you swap x with in brackets? So if I need to swap that x with 3 over 2x in brackets, that means it's a stretch 2/3 in the x direction. So that's how you would get that bit there. That's how you do the first bit. So what I would do is I would get the 3 appearing first. Now I can do the same thing as before. Again, it's always about what do I swap x with in brackets. Let's have a look. One thing I'd always do in these modulus questions, do not just blindly just say, oh, I'm going to put equal to the positive division and then put equal to negative division. No, don't do that. You want to draw them out every single time because what's going to happen if they ask you, what's going to happen if they ask you to sketch it? Then what? I've seen a question where it says, please differentiate this function. And differentiate it, Isabella, at a certain point. And guess what, Marcel? You had to draw it so you knew which equation to differentiate. Because imagine, Divyesh, we had a question and it said, please differentiate y is modulus for ln x take of e, but at the point, let's say at a point that was larger than b, we would need to know which equation that we need to use in the calculus. That's why it's important to get these sketched out. I've seen it. Imagine you had to find the area bounded between y equals 4, the graph, and the x-axis. You've got to integrate 2 different guys. It's 2 slightly different equations. That's why it's important to sketch it. And that's my prediction. I flew to see you. I flew all the way, you know that? To help you. I spent money in the event, flights, hotel, just to help you. Tell me, which bit? This is improper fractions. The first thing you do is your coefficient of x on the top divide by the coefficient of x on the bottom. What would that give me? And then you do your partial fraction decomposition. But there's only one term. So let's look at this one over here. Right, coefficient of 1 over x in that expansion is 24. Find the positive value of k. Should I use number 1 or number 2? Put your hand 1 like that, a 2 like that, and don't put your hand the other way around, please. Yeah, which one? Yeah, number 1, obviously, yeah? Some of you have been misbehaving. Yeah? When I ask you to get your homeworks done, who does them on time? Marcel's done every single one that I've asked him to do. Why can't I remember? I did A-levels 2011. There's no excuse to not remember. I can still remember because these, I didn't do them in my degree. I didn't do them in my second degree either. I've never had to go over it and look in a book and remember. Never. Why? Because I learned it properly from day one. Sometimes in life, you just have to learn things. And you just have to write it out until you remember. Some of you in office hours, you ask questions and like The only answer is it's a formula, learn it, and just write it out until you know how to use it. That's just how it is. Whenever you get, Saranya, your answer for tan, and if they tell you that the angle's obtuse, no one cares until you get to the last stage. The graph's underneath, you slap a negative on. That's literally it. It's the same in those questions as well, Aeon. You know when it says sine alpha is 3/5, work out tan alpha, and you draw a triangle? Do the same thing, pretend it's acute. Then you draw your graph out, you look at where it's obtuse, just slap a negative on. So we just finished our first session, really, really good. It's actually so nice to see all the students, and it's really, really good to just see what they're actually writing in real life. I believe the online aspect of teaching is amazing. Way more resources, you can do more lessons, you can record it, you can put it in a portal, way more support. But I also think having that real life aspect as well is just as important. Maybe having it once a quarter, just so you can see what everybody's doing. That way you can get them through everything in a very efficient way, but then you can also use this to see exactly what's going on. So, and the way it's going, I'm honestly super pleased. And I can't wait to do more and more of these so that we can actually see how students are performing online to get them ahead with a focused and efficient system, and then some in-person masterminds as well to really see what's going on. And of course, I want my students all to do really, really well. And the nice thing is they're in a very powerful environment, and environment is key. You know, who you surround yourself with, it's going to push you to the next level. Right, guys, so it's time to go back inside. We're going to do the second session of the first day, so let's go.
Does anyone know what I can do to that right-hand side? Anyone think they know? It is, yeah, it is. It's tricky to spot. I've seen them use this in a few questions for Pythagorean trig. They like to do this. So there it is, plus tan theta. So this is still an identity at the moment. We currently have this. There it is in our identity. So we can rearrange the identity. Divide both sides by the second bracket and we will get there. There it is. Not too uncommon to see that using the Pythagorean identities in that way, using difference of two squares. Yeah, really good.
Often asked to give our answers in set notation. What values of x then produce those y values that give us answers bigger than 4 on this graph? We're going to have two separate sets. Make sense? So if you've got some answers at the moment, if you've got an answer, quite typically in a question like this, they say give your answer in set notation. So we'll finish that off as if we'd been asked to do that as well.
So you know, like when it says obtuse or acute, does that mean that I should always like draw the graph to see? So let's say it was sine x is obtuse. I would draw the sine graph. Absolutely.
But the thing with sine, it's positive anyway, because between 90 and 180 it's above. But yeah, always draw your graph out and check, is it below or above the axes? If it's below, obtuse, it's obtuse, it's negative. Yeah, cast diagram. Who knows what I think of cast diagrams? Go on, Ahmed. It's haram. The reason why I don't like the cast diagrams, you can, of course, it's cool. If that helps you, absolutely. I'm only joking when I say that. You can use it, but I've never used it. Got 2 degrees in maths. Went to one of the best universities in the world. So I've never used it. So I look at it and I have to use my head and I have to, what? It might feel like it's difficult, but guess what? Sometimes in life, you have to learn things, and at first it's difficult. No good things came from just staying in your comfort zone, did it? If you think it's root function, stand up. If you think it's quotient rule, stay seated. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's root function. Okay, you can sit down, yeah? There we go. Got some blood flow, yeah? Change your state. Why are you sitting down? Oh my God. Guys, you're great pranksters. It's not going to be quotient rule yet. Yeah, it's not April Fool's yet. It's got to be root function because you have to look at the onion. Remember I said onion? Onions have layers. You look at the outer layer of the onion. The outer layer of this shell, imagine you had to, imagine it was a present wrapped up in wrapping paper. You have to take out the outer layer of the wrapping paper. The outer layer of the wrapping paper is a square root, so you've got to use square root to differentiate. So just wrapped up today. It was really, really good. It's always good, I think, to see how you can help students and what they're doing online, but most importantly, you can just see exactly what they're writing in real time as well. So both aspects of today has been really, really good. Of course, helping my students get ahead with their online lessons and helping them in person as well. So it's been incredibly valuable. And tomorrow's day, we're going to go through more stuff, more questions. And now I know exactly what students are finding really, really difficult. And now I can put some free resources out for potential students who could be watching this in the future. So today's been really good. I'll see you tomorrow. What's going on, guys? So it's day 2 over here. So Really good day yesterday. Went through loads of nice questions, and I just understand what A-level students find difficult. I know it so well, and that's what allows me to design the courses that we have online. That's what allows me to design my notes, handouts, materials, so that we can give you questions and resources that go beyond the difficulty of the book and actually look like what comes up in the exam paper. And I spoke to all my students yesterday, so it was really nice to see them. And they're so excited now for our lessons that are going to start online in January. And I just feel that we can now give them a much better process. So today, loads more questions. We're going to do a lot more calculus, more trig identities, integration. So that's what we're going to be doing in day 2. You'll try it. Sometimes people get upset, Hashir. They get upset when they don't know which one it is and they can't see the answer right away. That's okay. So sometimes it's a choice. I know it's frustrating, but the more you do, it becomes more of an art rather than a skill. It's the same, isn't it true? The same with integration or substitution. It becomes an art after a while. It's not much of it. It's an art. You've just seen 5,000 questions. You know, oh yeah, that's going to be. It's probably going to be like that one. You know. And sometimes when I see a problem, I don't even know how to do it when I start. I just do it as I go. I'm like, I'll figure it out. The amount of A-level students, Heath, that I see that can't sketch graphs. Goodness me, guys, you must be able to sketch all your trig graphs. So let's put this in harmonic form, and then we can start doing the max and the min. Yeah. Right now, basically, if these are equal, that means the sine x terms on the left has to be the same as the sine x term on the right. Which term, Heath, has a sine x on the right? First one or second one? I'm looking for a sine x on this side. Is it in this term or was it in this term? Yeah, right there it is, yeah? Circle it. You circle it. 3r cos alpha, that's equation 1. Now we're going to do the same thing for the cosine terms. That is the same graph. That graph is the exact same as that. I promise. Why do we do that? Which one's easier to sketch? That one. Why do we do that? Which one's easier to solve an equation? That one there. Why do we do that? If I wanted to do transformations from sine to this, it's much easier to go from sine to that. Oh my goodness, you don't have to draw the graph. Which graph can't you draw?
The harmonic.
You don't need to draw the harmonic one. When you're doing inverse sine, you draw the regular sine graph. You can draw regular sine, yeah? Go on then. Just finished first session of day 2 over here, and it's so nice to see what everyone is enjoying, what things that they need to focus on. Now the main thing that makes, I think, the process really helpful for A-level math students that we have in place is, of course, the online process, because we get through way more content, we can organize it better, they don't need to travel or commute anywhere, we can record our lessons, we can give more help sessions in the week. So that aspect of the A-level maths mastery process is really good. Students get unlimited one-on-one help, and anytime they have a question, they can always reach out to us in our help sessions. And I think combining it with maybe an in-person experience once a term, I think it's like the icing on the cake. And the reason being is because that way we can see what they've learned from the program, what some of their favorite lessons are, and what they need to do to improve. So it's really nice to see all of that. And of course, it allows us to now make our courses and programs better for people like you who are watching this at home, so that we can give you better notes, resources and material. Me and the team here as well, we can see what students are struggling with, and more than likely it's probably something that you're struggling with as well. We see it all the time. For example, differentiation is difficult, integration is difficult, trig identities, linking them all up. So we can see what students find tough in general, and that's after a lot of training with us. And students in here are doing really good. Now, if they're finding a few things tricky, more than likely, so are you. So if you're interested in learning about our process, then get in touch. But that's it for lunch of day 2. So now we're going to do the final session inside, and yeah, loads more questions, and let's get to it. One last thing I want to say: the amount of effort that goes into a full day's work, which is what our students are doing here, not the effort that I'm putting into this, the effort that they're doing. They're working from the morning and they're working all the way to the end of the day. That's the level of effort you need to be doing as well. So you can always work a lot harder, but the best thing is working really hard with the right resources, with the right material and online resources available. How do you solve that, Sharon? Between a 0 and 1080? Right, so give me inverse sine 0.3 in degrees. That's not the only answer, is it? I draw loads until I get it. You see what I'm saying? Look, I've got to go 1 cycle, 360, that's 720, and then whatever that is. So there's an answer here, 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 there's an answer here. Those are all my answers. It's like you're refusing to accept the laws of calculus. If you differentiate tangent, you get sec squared. If I want to reverse that, I integrate it. Can you make it a bit neater? I can't read that. And you're going to give the examiner a hard time. He's not going to, the examiner, he or she, is not going to be happy looking at it. They're going to be like, oh my God. Don't make it hard for them. Write it neater. So I've just wrapped up the second day with my students, done some amazing questions so that we can get them to the best grades in their A-levels. Guys, have you had a good time?
Yeah! Robert and Nathan, they actually help us like individually and like it's interactive. It's more practice, and now that I understand concepts better, I would feel sort of confident. I just know I have to revise on the stuff that I've been taught on and the sheets that I've been given. I'd say 100% joy, and it's worth it.
It's been very helpful, definitely, because my maths wasn't in a very good place when I started, and it's definitely got a lot better since I began. It's mainly Amrit's teaching, because he teaches stuff that you don't really get taught in school. He does everything at a lot slower of a pace, and he also uses methods that you wouldn't really find in school. The textbooks, they don't really go into the challenging questions that Amrit does. You know, like the exam question can be quite twisted compared to what you can find in the textbook. He really does care about how you do, and I think that's really what sets him apart from the rest.
It's definitely worth it. I think especially worth it if you do put the effort in. It is quite a lot, but it starts, well, I joined in the start of September, and that's when obviously school started, so it just became part of my routine. But no, I think it is definitely worth it. Even if you don't put in the effort, which obviously isn't advised, it does still pay off because he goes through it very thoroughly and does the hard questions, which school necessarily sometimes doesn't do.
And that was it, guys. Wrapped up, flew back here from Dubai. And, we want to make sure our students are doing really, really good. And now we're going to train them in the January cohort online. So we're going to do all of our lessons online now. We're going to go back to the online support to get them ahead for their applied exams. But yeah, it's going to be amazing. And this is something that I want to have in all of my programs where we can train you, we can get you ahead, you can follow the system, learn everything in the best way. And of course, every now and then we're going to do some masterminds to make sure your maths is in the best way. So that was today.